Bold action is the foundation of every breakthrough, every transformation, every leap forward. Nothing great is ever built from hesitation. Nothing extraordinary is ever created from indecision. If you want to shape your future, you must be willing to act boldly. Even when you're uncertain, even when you're uncomfortable, even when you're afraid. Most people wait. They wait for clarity. They wait for the right time. They wait for the fear to disappear. But the truth is, waiting is a slow death. The future doesn't belong to those who sit back and hope. It belongs to those who step forward and take it. Look at history. Every major breakthrough, every game-changing innovation, every cultural shift, it all happened because someone acted boldly when others hesitated. The Wright brothers didn't wait for certainty before trying to fly. Henry Ford didn't wait for approval before revolutionizing manufacturing. Bold action is not about knowing all the answers. It's about having the courage to act before you have them. The problem is, most people are trained to avoid risk. From an early age, we're taught to play it safe. Don't raise your hand unless you're sure you're right. Don't try unless you know you'll succeed. Don't speak up unless you're certain you'll be accepted. And over time, this conditioning creates hesitation. It teaches you to wait, to overthink, to analyze instead of acting. But hesitation is the enemy of progress. The longer you hesitate, the more fear grows. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to act. And eventually, the window of opportunity closes, not because you weren't capable, but because you didn't move. There's a reason successful people seem fearless. It's not that they don't feel fear. It's that they've trained themselves to act in spite of it. They've learned that action dissolves fear, that the moment you move, the moment you take that first step, the fear begins to fade. But if you wait, if you hesitate, fear strengthens its grip. Bold action isn't about recklessness. It's not about taking blind leaps without strategy. It's about making the decision to move forward before you have perfect clarity. It's about understanding that you will never have all the answers, that you will never feel 100% ready, but you go anyway. You take the risk. You place the bet. You speak up. You step forward. And once you take that first step, the path starts to reveal itself. The future belongs to those who take action, not those who wait for permission. Every goal you have, every dream you've imagined, every result you want, it all stands on the other side of bold action. You will never think your way into success. You will never plan your way into greatness. You must act your way into it. But most people never do. Most people overthink. They analyze every possible outcome. They obsess over what might go wrong. They convince themselves they need more information, more time, more certainty. And while they sit there waiting, someone else steps in and takes the opportunity. Success is not about being the smartest person in the room. It's not about having the best plan. It's about being the one who moves first, the one who makes the decision, the one who steps forward when others hesitate, the person who takes action even when they don't feel ready. You will never have perfect information. You will never feel fully prepared. You will never eliminate the possibility of failure. And that's why bold action matters. Because while everyone else is waiting for perfection, you are stepping forward. While everyone else is looking for certainty, you are creating momentum. While everyone else is hesitating, you are building the future. Bold action creates separation. It creates distinction. The people who rise to the top are not the ones with the best ideas. They are the ones with the courage to execute those ideas. The ones who put their reputation on the line, the ones who are willing to be wrong, to be criticized, to fail publicly, and still move forward. And that's why bold action is so rare, because it requires risk. It requires vulnerability. It requires putting yourself in a position where you might fail. But here's the truth. Failure is not the enemy. Failure is feedback. Failure is part of the process. Failure is how you sharpen your skills, refine your approach, and build resilience. Bold action isn't about avoiding failure. It's about moving forward through failure. It's about understanding that you will stumble, you will fall, you will face setbacks, but you keep going. You adjust, you adapt, you try again. Because the future does not belong to those who never fail. It belongs to those who never quit. Bold action is not natural. It's learned. From an early age, most people are trained to seek comfort, avoid conflict, and minimize risk. We are taught that safety is the goal, that fitting in is the priority, and that stepping too far outside the lines is dangerous. This conditioning starts early. A child raises their hand and gets the answer wrong, and the entire class laughs. They internalize the message. Don't speak up unless you're sure. A teenager applies for a position and gets rejected. They conclude, it's safer not to try next time. An adult takes a risk on a business idea, it fails, and they tell themselves, I'm not cut out for this. Over time, these moments create subconscious patterns. Your mind starts to associate action with danger. It begins to calculate the safest route. It learns that avoiding discomfort feels easier than confronting it. And eventually you become paralyzed, not because you lack talent, not because you lack ability, but because your subconscious mind is trying to protect you from discomfort. This is why most people hesitate. Their mind has been wired to see bold action as dangerous, even when it's the key to everything they want. They avoid rejection, not because they aren't capable, but because their subconscious mind links rejection with emotional pain. They avoid speaking up, not because they don't have value to offer, but because they've learned that being wrong comes with consequences. But here's the truth. Growth only happens in discomfort. There is no progress without friction. There is no transformation without resistance. The very discomfort you are trying to avoid is the doorway to everything you want. And the people who succeed at the highest level are not the ones who avoid discomfort. They are the ones who seek it out. Every time you avoid action, you strengthen the habit of hesitation. Your subconscious becomes more comfortable with inaction. It becomes easier to stand still. And before you know it, standing still becomes your default mode. But here's the good news. Just like hesitation can be trained, boldness can be trained too. You can condition your mind to see action as safe. You can teach your subconscious that stepping forward is normal, that taking risks is not a threat, and that failure is not the enemy. It's a path to mastery. The first step is to reframe how you see discomfort. Most people see discomfort as a signal to stop. They feel fear and assume it's a warning. But discomfort is not a warning. It's a sign of growth. If you feel uncomfortable, that means you are stretching beyond your current capacity. That means you are expanding your skills, your perspective, your confidence. Athletes know this instinctively. A runner doesn't get faster by staying comfortable. They push to the edge of their capacity. They embrace the discomfort. They train their body to handle more stress. Over time, what once felt hard becomes easy. Their threshold increases. Their limits expand. The mind works the same way. The more you step into discomfort, the more your subconscious adapts. The more you act boldly, the more normal bold action becomes. And eventually, what once felt terrifying becomes effortless. The key is to build the habit of action. Small, consistent steps that condition your mind to see movement as the default state. Most people assume that action requires confidence. They wait to feel ready before they move. But action creates confidence, not the other way around. You don't wait until you feel courageous to act. You act, and courage follows. You don't wait until you feel confident to speak. You speak, and confidence follows. You don't wait until you feel capable to step forward. You step forward, and capability follows. Action rewires the subconscious. Every time you act, you are proving to your mind that you are someone who moves, someone who leads, someone who makes things happen. And over time, that identity becomes embedded in your subconscious. You become the person who acts, not the person who waits. But here's the challenge. Your mind will resist this at first. Your subconscious will try to pull you back into safety. It will tell you to wait, to gather more information, to analyze the situation further. This is not because your subconscious wants you to fail. It's because it's trying to protect you from emotional discomfort. This is why the most successful people have learned to act before they feel ready. They've trained themselves to override the hesitation response. When their mind says, "You're not ready," they step forward anyway. When their mind says, "This could go wrong," they act anyway. When their mind says, "You might fail," they try anyway. Because they understand that action is the antidote to fear. Fear cannot survive in motion. The moment you move, the moment you engage, the fear starts to fade. But if you wait, if you hesitate, the fear multiplies. It grows stronger. It roots itself deeper into your subconscious. This is why action is the foundation of success. You can't outthink fear. You can't outthink hesitation. You have to move through it. And the faster you move, the faster you dismantle the fear. And this is why perfectionism is so dangerous. Perfectionism is hesitation disguised as preparation. It's the mind's way of creating an excuse to avoid action. People say, "I'm waiting for the right time. I'm making sure I'm prepared. I'm not ready yet." But these are just masks for fear. They are sophisticated forms of self-sabotage. Successful people don't wait for perfection. They know perfection is impossible. They know that action creates clarity. That momentum creates answers. That forward motion exposes the next step. They don't sit back waiting for the conditions to be right. They create the right conditions through action. And this is why most people never break through. They want certainty before they act. They want a guarantee before they risk. But life doesn't work that way. You don't get guarantees. You don't get certainty. You get opportunity, and you either step into it or you watch someone else take it. Bold action means acting without guarantees. It means trusting yourself to figure it out as you go. It means stepping into uncertainty, knowing that even if you stumble, even if you fail, you will adapt, you will adjust, you will learn, and you will grow stronger. Because bold action is not about avoiding failure. It's about learning from it. It's about stepping forward even when you're scared. It's about making decisions without all the answers. And when you do that, when you train yourself to act before you feel ready, you create momentum, you create confidence, you create the future on your terms. The future is not built by those who hesitate. It is built by those who move forward while others wait. Every moment you spend hesitating, overthinking, or waiting for permission is a moment wasted, an opportunity lost. Bold action separates those who make things happen from those who watch things happen. It is the defining characteristic of every leader, every innovator, Every person who has ever left a mark on the world. But what stops most people from taking bold action? Fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. The mind clings to safety, to comfort, to certainty. It tells you to wait, to hold back, to gather more information. But what it doesn't tell you is that waiting is a decision in itself. Hesitation is a choice. Inaction is a choice. And the longer you hesitate, the harder it becomes to act. There is a fundamental rule that successful people live by. Speed matters. They don't overanalyze. They don't sit on ideas for months or years. They move quickly. They make decisions fast. They act on opportunities before they have all the information, because they understand that the longer they wait, the less likely they are to move at all. It's not about recklessness. It's about momentum. Bold action creates energy. It creates movement. And once you are in motion, things begin to fall into place. The path starts to reveal itself. Opportunities you couldn't see before suddenly become obvious. Resources that weren't available before suddenly appear. But none of this happens if you don't take the first step. Most people live with the illusion that they are one decision away from action. They tell themselves, I just need more time to think. I just need to be sure. I'll start when the conditions are right. But that moment never comes. Conditions are never perfect. Clarity doesn't come from thinking. It comes from doing. Confidence doesn't come from waiting. It comes from acting. If you want to forge the future, you must get comfortable making decisions without all the answers. You must be willing to step forward even when you're uncertain. You must trust that you will figure it out along the way, because that is how bold action works. It's not about knowing, it's about moving. Every major breakthrough in history has come from someone who acted before they had all the answers. The great entrepreneurs, the world-changing leaders, the revolutionaries who shaped entire industries, they didn't wait for certainty. They acted before they were ready. They put themselves on the line. They made decisions with incomplete information. And because they moved first, they created the future while everyone else was still waiting for the perfect time. And this is what separates high achievers from everyone else. They have conditioned themselves to move quickly. They don't hesitate when an opportunity presents itself. They don't let fear stop them. They don't need to be pushed. They push themselves. And because of that, they win. Not because they're smarter, not because they have better ideas, but because they act while others hesitate. The truth is, most people fail before they even start. Not because they aren't capable, not because they aren't smart enough, but because they never take the first step. They wait for permission. They wait for guarantees. They wait until the fear disappears. But fear doesn't disappear. Fear only fades after you act. And the only way to overcome it is to move forward anyway. This is why bold action is the most powerful tool you have. Because action destroys fear. Action creates momentum. Action separates you from the masses. And the faster you move, the more powerful you become. Most people live their lives in preparation mode. They spend years learning, analyzing, getting ready, but they never actually start. They convince themselves that they need more time, more education, more experience. But preparation without action is useless. Knowledge without execution is meaningless. The future belongs to those who are willing to start before they feel ready. Think about this. What is the one thing you've been putting off? The one decision you've been avoiding? The one step you know you need to take, but haven't? Ask yourself, why? What are you waiting for? Because whatever reason you come up with is just an excuse. The time will never be perfect. You will never feel fully ready. And if you don't act now, chances are you never will. Bold action is a habit. It's not a one-time event. It's a way of life. The more you act, the more natural it becomes. And over time, you transform into the kind of person who moves forward instinctively, without hesitation, without doubt, without fear slowing you down. And here's something most people don't realize. Speed beats perfection every time. The person who takes 10 imperfect actions will always outperform the person who spends years trying to get it right. Because while one person is waiting, the other is learning, adapting, improving, and growing. And by the time the person waiting finally decides to act, they've already lost. So if you want to forge the future, start now. Make the decision. Take the step. Stop overthinking. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop letting fear dictate your actions. Bold action is not about confidence. It's about commitment. It's about deciding that you will move forward no matter what, that you will figure it out as you go, that you will not be one of the people who let hesitation steal their future. The choice is yours. You can either watch from the sidelines, waiting for the perfect moment that will never come, or you can take control and create the future you want. And the only way to do that is through bold, decisive, relentless action. Bold action is not a skill you are born with. It is something you build through repetition. The more you act, the more natural it becomes. The more you step forward, the less fear holds you back. But if you do nothing, if you hesitate, if you wait for the perfect moment, your hesitation becomes a habit. And habits determine your future. Most people live on autopilot, repeating the same patterns, making the same choices, thinking the same thoughts. They wake up every day and follow the same routines, reinforcing the same identity. They don't realize that every decision, every action, every hesitation is programming their subconscious. And the subconscious does not care what you want. It only follows what you do. If you hesitate every time an opportunity appears, your mind starts to believe that hesitation is the right response. If you avoid discomfort, your mind begins to link discomfort with danger. If you wait for certainty before acting, your mind reinforces the belief that action requires guarantees. But the opposite is also true. If you act quickly, if you train yourself to move before you feel ready, your subconscious starts to expect action. It begins to associate forward motion with safety. It starts to believe that stepping up, speaking out, taking risks is normal. And once bold action becomes normal, hesitation fades away. Your subconscious mind is a tool, but only if you train it. The key is to make bold action a daily practice, not something you do once in a while, not something you wait for the right opportunity to use every single day. You condition your mind to expect movement. You teach your body to respond to fear with action. You make decisive steps a habit so that when the big moments come, you don't freeze. You don't hesitate. You move. This is why discipline is more important than motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired, other days you don't. If you rely on motivation, you will never be consistent. But discipline is different. Discipline does not care about feelings. Discipline means acting, whether you feel like it or not. It means making bold action automatic. The strongest people in the world are not the most talented. They are the most disciplined. They have trained themselves to take action no matter what, to move forward even when they don't feel like it, to push through when others quit. And over time, that discipline turns into an unshakable mindset, a mindset that is immune to fear, a mindset that is wired for action, a mindset that forges the future instead of waiting for it. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Your life is a reflection of your actions, not your intentions. It does not matter what you want. It matters what you do. You can have the best ideas, the biggest dreams, the most detailed plans. But if you don't take action, none of it matters. Bold action is the only thing that turns potential into reality. There are two types of people in the world: those who take action and those who make excuses. Excuses sound intelligent. They sound logical. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I don't have the right resources. But every excuse is just a disguised form of fear. Every excuse is a way to justify inaction. Every excuse is a choice to stay the same. And the people who succeed, they don't make excuses. They take action, even when it's inconvenient. They step forward, even when the timing isn't perfect. They move, even when the path isn't clear. And because of that, they create the opportunities that others miss. They build momentum while others are still thinking. They take the lead while others are still debating. Because bold action is what separates leaders from followers. If you want to lead, if you want to rise, if you want to be the person who shapes the future instead of watching it happen, you must train yourself to act. Not later, not tomorrow. Now. And that starts with the small decisions you make every single day. Every time you hesitate, remind yourself, move. Every time you feel fear, remind yourself, act anyway. Every time your mind tells you to wait, remind yourself, this is the moment to go, because the future does not wait, and neither should you. Bold action is not about being reckless. It is not about acting without thinking. It is about developing a habit of decisive movement, a habit of stepping forward when others hesitate, a habit of taking control instead of waiting for permission, a habit of creating opportunities instead of hoping they appear. Most people do not lack intelligence. They do not lack ideas. They do not lack potential. What they lack is the ability to execute consistently. They have moments of motivation, bursts of energy, short-lived attempts at change, but they never follow through. They start and stop. They begin and hesitate. They overthink and hold back. And because of that, they never build the momentum needed to break through. Momentum is the most powerful force in success. The hardest part of any journey is the beginning. The hardest part of any action is the first step. But once you are in motion, everything becomes easier. Once you have momentum, you don't need to force yourself to act. Movement becomes automatic. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. Bold action is not about making one big move. It is about making many small moves over and over again until success is inevitable. It is about training yourself to take action every single day. Not just when you feel inspired, not just when the timing is perfect, not just when it is easy. Most people fail because they are inconsistent. They take bold action once, but then they retreat. They step forward one time, but then they second guess themselves. They make a move when they feel good. But when things get difficult, they stop. And this is why they never get anywhere. Because without consistency, there is no momentum. And without momentum, every action feels like a struggle. Discipline is the cure for inconsistency. When you develop discipline, action becomes automatic. You don't think about it. You don't wait for motivation. You don't debate with yourself. You just move. And when you do this, something incredible happens. Your subconscious rewires itself. It begins to expect action instead of hesitation. It begins to see bold action as normal instead of risky. And once that happens, success is no longer a matter of effort. It's a matter of habit. Hesitation is a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken. The fastest way to break it is to shorten the gap between thought and action. Most people hesitate because they give themselves too much time to analyze. They think about everything that could go wrong. They weigh every possible outcome. They convince themselves they need more time to decide. But the longer you wait, the stronger hesitation becomes. The longer you hesitate, the harder it is to act. The key is to act before hesitation has time to take hold. The moment you feel the urge to do something, move immediately. If you have an idea, act on it right away. If you know you need to make a decision, make it quickly. If you feel resistance creeping in, push through it without hesitation. Speed destroys doubt. Speed eliminates fear. Speed keeps you in motion while others are still debating what to do. This is why the most successful people are not the ones who make the best decisions. They are the ones who make decisions the fastest. They understand that action creates clarity. They know that no amount of thinking will provide the same level of insight as doing. They move first and adjust as they go. And because of that, they stay ahead while everyone else is still waiting for the perfect moment. Perfectionism is one of the biggest killers of bold action. Perfectionism convinces you that you need more time, that you need to prepare more, that you need everything to be just right before you start. But perfection is an illusion. There will never be a perfect moment. You will never have all the answers. You will never feel fully ready. And if you wait until you do, you will never move at all. The most successful people understand this. They know that done is better than perfect. They know that action is more valuable than planning. They know that the only way to get better is to start before you are ready. And because they move forward, because they take imperfect action, because they adjust as they go, they succeed while others are still preparing. Bold action does not mean ignoring risk. It means taking calculated risks. It means stepping forward despite uncertainty. It means accepting that failure is part of the process. Most people avoid bold action because they are afraid of failure. They think failure is proof that they are not good enough. But failure is not the enemy. Inaction is. Every successful person has failed. They have failed more times than most people have tried, but they do not let failure define them. They do not let failure stop them. They learn from it. They adjust. They keep moving forward. And because of that, they reach levels of success that most people only dream of. If you want to forge the future, you must redefine your relationship with failure. You must stop seeing it as something to be avoided and start seeing it as feedback. Failure is not a dead end. It is a lesson. It is data. It is an opportunity to improve. And the faster you fail, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you succeed. The people who win in life are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who never stop. They are the ones who take action again and again, learning and adjusting with every step. They are the ones who do not allow temporary setbacks to turn into permanent excuses. They are the ones who refuse to let fear control their future. Your future is being shaped by your actions right now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, and if you do not take control of it, someone else will. If you do not take bold action, you will spend your life watching others who do. If you do not move forward, you will stay exactly where you are. So the only question that matters is, what will you do? Will you hesitate or will you move? Will you wait for permission or will you take control? Will you let fear dictate your choices or will you forge the future with bold, relentless, unstoppable action? Bold action is not just about achieving success. It is about owning your life. It is about refusing to live on autopilot. It is about refusing to let fear, doubt, or hesitation dictate your future. Because every time you hesitate, every time you wait, every time you hold back, you are giving away control. Most people live reactively. They respond to circumstances instead of creating them. They let external forces decide their future. They let opportunities pass by because they don't feel ready. They let fear stop them because they don't want to make a mistake. And before they know it, years have passed, and they are still standing in the same place. If you do not act boldly, life will make decisions for you. Someone else will step into the opportunities you hesitate on. Someone else will claim the rewards you were too afraid to chase. Someone else will build the future you dreamed of because they moved while you waited. And that is the difference between those who create success and those who only wish for it. Successful people understand that waiting is a slow form of failure. They understand that if they do not take action, nothing changes. They do not let fear hold them back. They do not wait for certainty. They do not waste time overthinking. They step forward while others hesitate. They take risks while others retreat. They make things happen while others make excuses. Bold action is not reckless. It is intentional. It is about making the decision that you will not be passive, that you will not live your life watching from the sidelines, that you will not let opportunities slip away because you were too afraid to move. Bold action means stepping forward because you are uncertain. It means making decisions before you feel ready. It means acting even when fear is present. Fear is not the enemy. Inaction is. Most people think they need to get rid of fear before they take action. But fear is not something you eliminate. It is something you move through. If you wait until you are fearless, you will never act. If you wait until you feel completely prepared, you will never start. The only way to weaken fear is through action. The only way to build confidence is through movement. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you earn. Every time you take action, even when you are uncertain, you train your mind to trust itself. Every time you push through hesitation, you build the muscle of boldness. Every time you step forward when others step back, you reinforce the belief that you are someone who takes control. And the more you do this, the more natural bold action becomes. Hesitation is a habit, but so is courage. If you hesitate every time an opportunity arises, hesitation becomes automatic. But if you move forward every time fear shows up, action becomes automatic. Your brain rewires itself. Boldness becomes instinct. Fear loses its grip. And soon, you'll find yourself making moves that once seemed impossible. This is how people rise. They do not wait until they are ready. They do not wait for the perfect plan. They do not wait for someone to give them permission. They decide that they will move forward no matter what. They take the first step and then the next, and then the next. And before they know it, they have built momentum so strong that nothing can stop them. And here's what most people don't realize. The biggest risk in life is not taking any risks at all. Playing it safe is an illusion. If you avoid risks, if you hesitate, if you wait for guarantees, you may feel safe in the moment, but in the long run, you are setting yourself up for failure. Because the world does not reward those who stand still. It rewards those who move. It rewards those who take initiative. It rewards those who have the courage to forge the future instead of waiting for it. Everything you want is on the other side of bold action. The success you want, the opportunities you seek, the confidence you wish you had, the life you dream of. It is all on the other side of a decision, the decision to move now. The decision to stop waiting, stop overthinking, stop hesitating, and take control. So what will you choose? Will you continue to wait for the perfect moment, knowing that it will never come? Will you continue to let fear decide your future, knowing that it will keep you stuck? Or will you break free? Will you commit to bold, relentless, decisive action? Will you step forward right now and claim the future that is waiting for you? Because the future is not given. It is taken. It is forged. It is built by those who are willing to act while others hesitate. It is shaped by those who refuse to wait for permission. It is created by those who step into the unknown with absolute certainty that they will figure it out along the way. And those people, they are not any different from you. They simply made a choice. And now it is your turn. At the end of the day, your life is shaped by one thing: your ability to act boldly. Every success, every achievement, every breakthrough you've ever had came from a moment where you chose to move forward instead of holding back. Every failure, every missed opportunity, every regret came from a moment where you hesitated, where you let fear decide for you, where you waited instead of taking control. And this is the truth that most people spend their whole lives avoiding. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. No one is going to push you forward. No one is going to force you to act. If you do not step up, if you do not take control, if you do not forge your own future, then someone else will decide it for you. The world is built by those who move, not by those who hesitate, not by those who wait, not by those who sit back and hope that one day things will magically change. The world belongs to those who take bold action, the ones who raise their hand, the ones who step forward, the ones who make things happen instead of waiting for them to happen. And that can be you. Because boldness is not a personality trait. It is a decision. It is not something you are born with. It is something you become by choosing it over and over again. Every time you take action, every time you move forward, despite fear, every time you make a decision without waiting for perfection, you are rewiring your mind. You are building the identity of someone who takes charge, someone who makes things happen, someone who creates the future instead of waiting for it. There is no secret. There is no hidden formula, no magic strategy, no perfect timing. There is only this moment and the decision you make right now to act or to hesitate, to move or to wait, to take control or to let life pass you by. That is the only choice that matters. So what will you do? Will you let another day pass without action? Will you let another opportunity slip away because you were waiting to feel ready? Or will you make the decision, the one that changes everything? Will you commit to moving forward no matter what? Will you step into the future, not with hesitation, not with doubt, but with bold, unstoppable, relentless action? Because your future is not waiting. It is being created in this moment by this decision. And if you want to forge the future, if you want to take control of your life, if you want to become the kind of person who acts instead of hesitates, this is where it starts. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, move. Take the first step. And don't stop until you've built the life you are meant to live.